If Sunday nights feel like a complete loss of control, if you find yourself eating perfectly all week only to spiral into a binge the moment the weekend hits, let me tell you, you're not broken, you're not lacking willpower, and you're definitely not alone. The weekend binge cycle is one of the most common patterns I see in women who struggle with emotional eating, and it makes perfect sense when you understand what's actually happening in your brain and body. In the last 2 weeks of this series, we've talked about becoming the woman who has food freedom and building the foundation that makes it possible. Today we're getting specific about breaking one of the most stubborn patterns that keep women stuck, the weekend binge cycle that often peaks on Sunday nights. Because here's what I know, you can have all the mindset work and all the foundation in the world, but if you can't get through a weekend without losing control, you will never truly feel free around food. Because here's what I know, you can have all the mindset work, all the foundation in the world, but if you can't get through a weekend without losing control, you will never feel truly free around food. But by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why this happens and have my step-by-step method to break this cycle once and for all. So welcome back to part 3 of the Get Ready for 2026 series. In week 1, we talked about the identity shift, becoming the woman who naturally trusts herself around food. Last week, we dove into the 3 pillars of food freedom: nervous system safety, metabolic trust, and emotional capacity. Today, we're applying everything we've learned to one specific pattern that sabotages so many women's progress. And next week, in our final episode, I will give you the 3 non-negotiables that will determine whether 2026 is different or just more of the same. And if you're just joining us, make sure to grab the Binge-Free 2026 Starter Kit. I created this specifically for this series. The link is in the description down below. But now let's talk about why weekends, and especially Sunday nights, are so triggering for so many of us. Let me paint you a picture that might sound familiar. It's Friday evening, you've been good all week, you meal prepped, you ate your salads, you had the smoothies, you avoided the office snacks, you're feeling proud of yourself. But then the weekend hits and suddenly you're giving yourself permission to relax with food. Maybe it starts innocently, a few drinks on Friday night, brunch on Saturday morning, takeout because you don't want to cook. But by Sunday evening, you're standing in your kitchen, eating everything in sight, the leftover pizza, the ice cream you bought for guests, the crackers you don't even like that much. And the whole time you're thinking, what is wrong with me? I was doing so well. Well, here's what's actually happening, and it has nothing to do with your willpower. First, there's the weekend restriction hangover. Even if you think you're eating normally during the week, if you're mentally restricting, so telling yourself certain foods are off limits, or that you need to be good, your body's keeping score, and by the weekend that restriction pressure has built up so much that your brain basically says on Friday, finally, freedom, let's get all the forbidden foods now. Then second, there's the weekend permission slip. You tell yourself that weekends are for relaxing and enjoying yourself, but if your only way to relax and enjoy yourself is through food, weekends become a free-for-all binge fest. Third, there is the Sunday night anticipatory anxiety. Your brain knows that Monday morning is coming. Monday means restriction and rules and the pressure to be perfect again. So Sunday night becomes your last chance for freedom before the diet starts again. And finally, there is the emotional component. Weekends bring a lot of feelings. There's the pressure to have fun, the disappointment if your weekend wasn't perfect, the anxiety about the week ahead, the loneliness if you spent the weekend alone, and all of this emotion hit at once, and if you don't have tools to process them, food becomes the fastest and probably only way to numb out. Now, most advice about weekend binges focuses on willpower or distraction. Just go to bed early on Sunday, keep yourself busy, brush your teeth right after eating dinner so that you don't have the snacks. Don't keep trigger foods in the house. But this completely misses the point. The weekend binge isn't really about the weekend, it's about the entire week that led up to it. If you're restricting, mentally or physically, during the week, weekend binges are pretty much inevitable. Your body and brain are going to demand compensation for that restriction. So if you're using food as your primary way to relax and have fun, weekends become synonymous with overeating. If you're stuck in the perfectionism mindset of I'll start fresh on Monday, Sunday nights become your last supper before the diet begins again. So you can't solve the weekend binges by focusing solely on the weekend. You have to solve the entire cycle. And that is exactly what the weekend reset method does. This is the exact method I use to break my own weekend binge cycle, and it's what I teach inside my program, the Nourish method. It's not about willpower or distraction. It's about addressing the root causes we just talked about. So step 1 is the weekend review on Friday afternoon or Saturday morning. So before the weekend truly begins, you're going to do a gentle review of your week. Not as a judgment session, but rather a data collection session. So ask yourself, how did I eat this week? Was I restricting in any way? What emotions came up that I didn't fully process? What do I need this weekend to feel nourished and supported? How do I want to feel on Monday morning? This isn't about fixing everything. It's about awareness and intention setting. And just a little reminder again, all those prompts and those questions to ask yourself are inside the Binge-Free 2026 starter kit. So be sure to download it and do the exercises along watching the videos, or at least separately. Then step number 2, the permission practice. So that's what we want to do throughout the weekend. This is where we flip the script on restriction. Instead of telling yourself you can't have certain foods during the week, you're going to give yourself explicit permission to have whatever you want, not just on weekends, but any day of the week. And I want you to say this out loud. I can have ice cream on Tuesday if I want it. I can have pizza on Thursday if I want it. I don't have to wait until the weekend to enjoy food. This sounds so counterintuitive, I get it. But when your brain truly believes that all foods are available all the time, the urgency to binge disappears because your brain no longer naturally fixates on it. Then step number 3, the emotion check-in, whenever cravings hit. So when you feel the urge to binge, whether it's Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, Saturday afternoon, you're going to pause and ask yourself, what am I really hungry for right now? Maybe you're hungry for fun because you feel like your week was too serious. Maybe you're hungry for comfort because you're anxious about Monday. Maybe you're hungry for connection because you feel lonely. Once you identify what you're truly hungry for, you can ask, how can I feed this hunger without food? Maybe fun looks like dancing to your favorite song or calling a friend. Maybe comfort looks like taking a warm bath or watching a funny movie, your favorite series. Maybe connection looks like reaching out to someone you truly care about. Then step number 4, the Monday reframe. So this will happen on Sunday evening. Instead of thinking about Monday as the day you have to be perfect again, you're going to reframe it as a day to continue caring for yourself. So write down 3 ways you want to nourish yourself on Monday. Not to restrict yourself, but nourish yourself. Maybe it's having a breakfast you actually enjoy. Maybe it's taking a walk during your lunch break. Maybe it's eating a satisfying dinner instead of a sad desk salad. When Monday becomes nourishment instead of restriction, the entire weekend loses its last chance energy, that last meal, that last time we get rid of everything and start again. So here's what happens when you consistently use the weekend reset method. First, the urgency around weekend eating disappears. When your brain truly believes that all foods are available all the time, there's no need to binge. Then second, you start processing emotions as they come up during the week instead of letting them build up until the weekend. Third, you break the restriction binge cycle that keeps you stuck. Weekends become about genuine rest and enjoyment and not chaos around food. And finally, you develop trust with yourself. You prove to yourself that you can handle difficult emotions without using food and that you can enjoy food without losing control. I remember the first weekend I made it through without binging. It was a Sunday evening and I was feeling the familiar anxiety about Monday. But instead of eating my feelings away, I realized what I really needed was to prepare for the week in a way that feels supportive and not restrictive. So I planned some meals I was excited about. I laid out some clothes that made me feel good. I went to bed early. I planned my week. And Monday morning, instead of waking up with food guilt and shame, I woke up feeling prepared and proud of myself. That's when I knew the cycle was broken. And let me tell you, all of this is possible for you too, like 100% possible. So here's how you can start implementing all of this. This weekend, try the week review. So spend 10 minutes reflecting on how you ate and felt during the week and set intentions on how you want to feel. Then practice the permission practice throughout the weekend. Remind yourself that you can have any food any day of the week. You don't have to wait until weekends. And when cravings hit, use the emotion check-in. Ask yourself what you're really hungry for and how you can feed that hunger without food. And on Sunday evening, reframe Monday as a nourish yourself day and not a restrict yourself day. And remember, breaking this cycle takes practice. Don't expect to be perfect on your first try. The goal is progress and not perfection as always. And progress can look like an up and down kind of path and not just like gradually making progress non-stop. Some days you will be better, some days less. But the important part is to just not give up. Now, if you want to dive deeper into breaking nighttime eating patterns, not just on weekends, but any night of the week, I have a short and free training that will teach you my 3-step evening check-in method that you can use anytime you feel the urge to binge at night. This training is the perfect complement to what we covered today, and it gives you practical tools you can start using immediately. You can access the training completely for free. The link is down in the description below. And next week, we're wrapping up this series with the 3 non-negotiables that will determine whether 2026 is different or just more of the same. These are the 3 things that every woman who successfully breaks free from emotional eating and binge eating has in common. And if you're missing even one of them, you will likely stay stuck in the same patterns. So make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss our final episode. And don't forget to grab your binge-free 2026 starter kit if you haven't already. It includes a weekend reset worksheet that walks you through each step of the method we just covered today. So the link is in the description below. But before you go, let me know in the comments, what is your biggest trigger for weekend binges? Is it the weekday restriction, the weekend permission trap, or the Sunday night anxiety? Understanding your specific trigger will help you customize this method for your situation. So yeah, with all that being said, I will see you next week for our final episode where we're covering the 3 non-negotiables for lasting food freedom. Until then, remember, weekends don't have to be a battleground. They can be time for genuine rest and nourishment. So yeah, lots of love, and I will see you for part 4.